Welcome to episode 33 of the Other Star franchise, the anti-fascist Star Wars podcast where a couple of Trekkies from the Star Trek fandom discuss Star Wars. We are currently watching a lot of the Star Wars shows, movies, and animation in chronological order leading up to the release of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Today, we are discussing the Book of Boba Fett, all 7 episodes, which take place in the year 9 ABY. I'm Fatheree, this is Taylor. Y'all might know us from the TEX-TREK podcast. Say hi, Miss Taylor.
Hello.
So we are gathered here today to talk about some Boba Fett, our Kiwi clone boy. So, this is a TV show that, oh, I just realized we're all microscopic over there on the screen. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, this is a TV show that you don't hear many people talk about anymore. It came out in 2021, and I remember, there was a lot of enthusiasm for it because of the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and then this show, it didn't, piss off a lot of Star Wars fans, some things like The Acolyte, or the prequel trilogy, or the sequel trilogy does. So it doesn't even get, that level of discussion anymore. I feel like it's kind of forgotten, you know?
Yeah.
You made the comment when we were sitting down to watch it, you were like, I actually don't remember anything that happens in this.
I didn't. We'd only seen it once, right when it came out, I think.
Yeah, well...
yeah. I liked it.
We had never watched it together either. It's something that you had watched, I guess when it came out in 21. Did you watch this, right when it came out?
Yeah, I remember waiting for it.
Okay.
So.
Because you'd been following The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I remember the first few episodes, I remember actually, really defending the show. I didn't really... There were a lot of people complaining about it, and I didn't really get why. I was pretty happy with the first 4 episodes. Vespas did get, a little weird when they showed up in episode 4. Mm-hmm. But then, it infamously... Everyone has talked about this. Everyone knows what I'm going to say about episode 5. But guess what? It's more of an episode of The Mandalorian than the Book of Boba Fett.
I would say even the 6th episode.
Yeah. Well, at least Boba Fett actually appears in episode 6. He's not in episode 5 at all, right? Fennec Shand mentions him at the end.
Yeah.
And is like, Boba has a job for you, Din Djarin.
Yeah.
But other than that, Boba Fett is entirely absent. So.
Yeah, Tamara got a break that week.
Yeah, and it just reeks of Disney corporate shenanigans. I don't know. I've never heard anyone comment on whose idea it was to tie the 2 shows together. So to the point that it's a requirement to watch the Book of Boba Fett to understand the status quo of the Mandalorian show when you go into season 3. If you watch seasons 1 and 2. And then go straight into season 3. It's an incredible jarring. It's like, man, there was a whole season, it feels like, that I just missed.
I think what they should have done was actually aired this as season 3 of The Mandalorian and subtitled it The Book of Boba Fett.
Well, that's what I was saying. I said that, they should have just stopped The Mandalorian at season 2. I kind of
I also agree with that.
The story of, just to wind the clock back in all of the various times I said, well, this is what they should have done with The Mandalorian. But, originally, I was fine with this unnamed Mando and this unnamed Yoda-like infant kid. Yeah. I just called them Mando and the kid. And they would just go get on a different adventure every week. And I didn't need it to be... this epic story. If it was just going to be a series of hey, we crash land on this planet and we get into some trouble. Hey, we're hiding from the cops on this ice planet, but the frog lady has to get home and oh no, here's some spiders. If it was just shit like that every week, I would have been fine with it. That's what the show does best, you know? Mm-hmm. But then they wanted to tie it into all the larger Star Wars universe. And I'm like, okay, fine, do that. Bring in Ahsoka, bring in Luke, bring in Boba Fett. You know what? You did a good enough job with everything in season 2 that I was okay with all that.
Yeah.
But I thought that would have been a great place to wrap it up. And then, like you said, just do The Mandalorian season 3. It just follows a different Mandalorian. Yeah. It just follows Boba Fett.
Yeah, and then the Mandalorian season 4 after that would be the Book of Bo-Katan. instead of all the shenanigans that happened in season 3 with Mando and Bo-Katan. Like, and explore her more. Because I actually kind of don't like season 3 of The Mandalorian. Like, every time I think about it, I'm like, ah.
And you're not alone. I remember I was late to watching it. I waited until we watched it together in late 2023. But I guess it came out in early 2023. But I wasn't watching it week to week, so I wasn't part of the fandom discourse. But just from the sidelines, I did notice there was a lot of complaints about season 3. So my expectations were very lowered. And like I said, like I kind of felt like I had like satisfying conclusions with these characters. And then the Book of Boba Fett, as we're going to talk about, it undoes the ending of Mando season 2.
I hate that.
Like immediately after it takes place. So
they're like, oh, we fucked up. We can't. We didn't want to actually wrap it at season 2, so now we gotta like backtrack a little bit.
But when I did sit down to watch The Mandalorian season 3, like I honestly like didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was like pretty similar to seasons 1 and 2, and I think people just wanted to like. I think people were just tired of like new Star Wars constantly, and they just like wanted it to. They wanted an excuse to check out.
Yeah, I'll save a lot of my thoughts when we cover season 3 next time, but like I'm just like trying to remember like the things that happened in it, and all I can remember is that Bo-Katan is sassy on the throne, and there's like the mythosaur stuff, and everything else I don't remember.
A big showdown with Gideon.
Like I remember we would watch an episode and I'd be like, "What happened?" And then you'd be like, "This happened." I'm like, "When?" Like, what happened? Like, I don't remember anything happening in this episode. Like, it just felt so bland. But it's okay. We'll talk more about...
You said that about the Book of Boba Fett, too, though.
Yeah, I think it is... Okay. We'll do general thoughts now for the Boba Fett show, because this ties in well. I still feel that the Book of Boba Fett can be, overall, very bland. And I think Chapter 7 kind of sucks. And my favorite episodes are 1 to 4, and the best parts of it are all the backstory of him, like, with the Sand People and, like, getting out of the Sarlacc pit and his, like, rebirth, I guess, if we're gonna go with that, like, his Jesus story. But, all of the, like, Tatooine politics and spice trade stuff makes me want to fall asleep. And I know this is, like, a George Lucas specialty, even though I know he didn't, like, write these episodes, but you can tell, like, this is, like, it feels heavily inspired by, like, Clone Wars episodes of, like, the politics.
This is like, one of the most Clone Wars-y things we've watched since the Clone Wars.
It can be a little snoozy. And, like, I think it's good. Like, it's good story.
I like the crime drama stuff. The only time I thought this was boring was the 7th episode when it was just like the big action set piece.
That went on way too long. We can get into that when we get into chapter 7. But yeah, overall, like, the best parts, I think, are all the flashbacks. And, like, with Finnick and Boba. But mostly Boba's, like, the Tusken Raider stuff is all insanely good.
Yeah, no, I actually applaud the Tatooine world building. Like, I like seeing the, it's kind of like the internal politics of Tatooine, and like, well, what are the differences between Mos Pelgo and Mos Eisley and Mos Espa, and just, you know, getting to be like, oh yeah, there's a lot of Trandoshans that live here, and you know, just seeing like little details like that, and then, you know, getting to know more about like the Pikes and the spice trade. I guess the Pikes were not very fleshed out and weren't very compelling bad guys.
They could have been scary.
They should have built... Cad Bane probably should have had, like, a bigger role in the show. But I say all that to say, I think the biggest crime of this show... It's not that... I don't want to say that they don't give Boba Fett an arc, because he does get an arc. He's a very different character here. You know, he's not like the bounty hunter who fell into the Sarlacc pit. But... we don't see that arc. We see him come out of the Sarlacc pit, and he's already a changed man.
Yeah.
He's already, like, he wants to free the Rodian.
Enough.
He wants to team up with the Sand People and teach them how to ride speeder bikes. Like, all it took was when he slays the four-armed beast, and they kind of celebrate him, then, like, all of a sudden, he cares about family and being part of a tribe.
Yeah.
We never see him, like, make the choices of like, changing or, like, go on that journey And it's fine. You can also do a TV show or do like a 7-episode miniseries where your protagonist doesn't change. It's called a flat arc. Happens all the fucking time. But the thing is, like, there's not a flat arc. There was an actual character arc that happens off screen, like, right before the episode begins.
Okay, and my other complaint...
Right before the flashbacks begin.
My other complaint about this is that there's also not a character arc in his present story. Like, in his backstory, we're not seeing the arc. But then in his present story, he's like, I'm sitting on the throne, and I'm going to try to be nice. And, like, is like that the whole time. So he does fall very flat. Like, you don't even feel like a big difference between him with the Tusken Raiders and him sitting on Jabba's throne. You know what I mean? Like, he still feels like the same Boba from episode 1 to episode 7 in the present story. And so, like, I feel like what I honestly think would have been cooler is if he had been like, wait, why the fuck did I take the throne? I don't want the fucking throne.
Well, apparently he did.
Even in the last episode,
he
says,
cool as fuck
we shouldn't even be on the throne.
See, this is, okay, he looked cool as fuck when he killed Bib Fortuna and took the throne.
Yeah.
But then, like, you watch that at the end of Mando season 2, and you're like, oh, this guy, he wants to be like the big bad. He wants to be like the new big fat ass on the throne. I say that as like, oh yeah, like I want to be like the big fat guy on the throne.
Yeah.
Like replacing Bib Fortuna, replacing Jabba. Like Boba sits down. I feel like like the bigger Tamora Morrison. I feel like that's kind of like a power move to be like this bigger guy though. Not to say like he's fat. He's just like he's a thick, swole dude.
Yeah, he's strong.
So, but yeah, like he's large when he's like sitting down on that throne.
Yeah,
it's kind of a power statement. But like, let him be a crime lord. Like, why does he have to be a good guy? He just let him be like a bad guy. He helped the Mandalorian one time, and then I don't know. Maybe he doesn't need like his own TV show then. Like maybe he can just be like a bad guy in other people's stories.
I think the problem is that they want Boba to be very mysterious still. Like, that's the whole point of Boba. Everyone's thought he's so mysterious this whole time, right? And they're like, actually, we're going to flesh him out, but we still want him to be mysterious. And that is where they failed, is like, once you start fleshing out a character like that, and you're trying to, you're going to lose that mystery, right? And, like, they try to make him so, like, somber and, like, reflective and introspective and internal, and like to me, from the Boba Fett I saw in the Clone Wars, that ain't him.
But that's also him when he's like 12.
I know,
so.
But like I kind of want that more. Like I want irritating Boba. Like
I mean, him being like the ambitious criminal, like I'm gonna take over the crime scene on Tatooine and rule the planet. That kind of does seem like little kid Boba's plan.
Yeah,
so.
But then he like has like this big soft heart. Like the other thing is, I don't like that. I don't feel like we saw the grief of the Tusken tribe enough. Like there was no anger build up.
No, I liked that stuff. I think that's some of the best stuff in the show.
But I mean, like I still feel like we didn't get any big character like reactions really. Like even though he's upset, he doesn't really feel like
slaughtered that whole swoop gang is what they call them, the bikers on the speeder bikes.
But I don't know, we don't see him like break down or like change who he is after that. Like he's still just the same. Yeah, like
he had already changed. He's changed as soon as he comes out of the Sarlacc pit.
And I think he should have changed again after the Tusken tribe. I think it should have reverted him a little bit more into angry, stupid, like feisty Boba.
Yeah,
like had a little bit of a character backslide.
I mean, I feel like they just should have set this entire thing as a
backstory.
And not try to tie into the new show. But that's why it feels like such like a stupid move to be like, oh, but we want you to have these essential episodes of the... Because like it feels like a Disney Plus executive was like, oh my god, we're not getting... Our projections for the Book of Boba Fett show aren't going to be what we want them to be. So how about like as you're writing that show, why don't you tie in the Mandalorian into that? And then, you know, something like that.
It feels like a save our rates, like last-ditch effort.
Yeah.
Like...
Or just something like an experimentation. They're just gonna be like, oh, maybe we should do like how we do on the Marvel side of things, and just have like let's have like Doctor Strange or like big stories and like a Spider-Man movie or like you know something else, and then like you have to watch that other stuff to know what's going on.
Yeah, but also, I would have loved to have had the Mandalorian returned in the Boba Fett stuff without it including Grogu. Just so because then, like you said, like it wouldn't have to be like, it's like, oh, if you miss it, it's okay.
Yeah.
But, like, it would be good to also show Din Djarin's lack of Grogu growth / missing him for a longer period of time. And I don't know, like it feels very inconsistent once they go into the chapter 5 stuff.
Well, if you're seeing a video format of our podcast, then on screen right now you can see our spreadsheet. There's also a link to it wherever you're watching or listening to us if you check the description. But the spreadsheet documents all the Star Wars we've been watching on this chronological rewatch. That's everything we have watched is currently checked off. We're on line number 343 of the spreadsheet, so we've watched a lot of Star Wars.
Quite a bit.
So we've watched like over 300 episodes and movies. Not too much more to go. But yeah, so we're going to talk about these 7 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett in more detail. Starting with Chapter 1, A Stranger in a Strange Land. That is the name of a sci-fi novel about Mars, right? That's where the word grok comes from. It's from this science fiction book.
Grok?
Yeah, before it was the name of Elon's AI.
Oh, I was like, what is grok? I don't know. Okay. You want me to read the summary?
Yeah.
Boba Fett barely escapes from the Sarlacc that swallowed him and is left for dead by Jawas who steal his armor. He is captured by Tusken Raiders and fails to escape their camp. 5 years later, Fett and Fennec Shand have taken control of Jabba's criminal empire on Tatooine. They receive tribute from local dignitaries and gain the services of 2 Gamorrean guards. Fett and Shand visit the Sanctuary, a cantina in Mos Espa run by Garsa Fwip, who also offers tribute. Outside the cantina, the group are ambushed by assassins whom they fight off. Shand captures one of the assailants after pursuing them across the rooftops. The guards take an injured Fett to the palace and place him in a bacta-tank for healing. Fett remembers his time with the Tuskens. He and a Rodian prisoner were forced to dig for black melons in the desert until they were attacked by a large sand creature that killed the Rodian. R.I.P. Fett killed the creature, saving a Tusken child and earning the respect of the tribe.
So this episode was written by Jon Favreau, directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Shout out to a local.
Yeah, who he was really involved in the Book of Boba Fett.
And Spy Kids.
So, well, he's everything behind. He's the writer, director, editor.
Yeah.
He edits his own movies. But yeah, so Rodriguez, he was like an executive producer on this show, though. They brought him in early for like the development of it. He had a lot of influence, like the sand creature in this episode. We were just watching some of the behind the scenes material they have on Disney Plus. He's talking about like he came up with the design for this 4-armed creature, and it is kind of a cool. What's his name? Harryhausen. Ray Harryhausen, old stop motion effects guru. It's a very classic Harryhausen type design. I like this first episode though. It like my frustrations aside of like Boba Fett not having his arc shown within the show. It is cool to see the escape from the Sarlacc pit, something that Star Wars fans have been curious about. Yeah, there's been theories. There's been a lot of EU stories about this. In the old Legends continuity, he came out of the Sarlacc pit and then fell back into it, and had to come out of it again.
Damn.
But,
brutal.
There's also some flashbacks to Camino.
Oh yeah.
So they tie in some prequel stuff with Attack of the Clones, but I kind of liked those shots of just him watching his dad's ship, the Slave One, take off.
Yeah, I do wish that we had more of that. Like, it's just showing the ship leaving like over and over again, and we don't ever get like more.
It's just like he misses his dad. It's like when his dad went to Coruscant to assassinate Padme.
Yeah, they could also have him look in the mirror and be like, "Oh, I miss my dad." Like, I don't know. It just felt weird. Like maybe there was going to be more that they talked about of him being on Camino. I just liked
showing a glimpse of his childhood memories, because it would have been like a small part of his life, but it would have been like that foundational first decade, But not something he's returned to since, but still something that's that never fully leaves him. I kind of like that. But we get like a lot of characters. He starts building up his gang here, I guess. We still don't really know his motivation for why he takes out Bib Fortuna, other than like he held on to the slave one for a while. So I mean, Hondo had slave one for a while too, and I assume Boba never like tried to kill and dethrone Hondo. So.
Maybe he did.
No, according to Disney, if you go to like the thing at Disney World, like their Millennium Falcon ride, I think like Hondo's like a character in that. And it's like there's like an official like canon story of Hondo helping the Resistance fight the First Order. But the Green Piggies, the Gamorrean guards, they stayed loyal to Bib Fortuna, and so Boba's like, oh, maybe you'll stay loyal to me.
Yeah. They're dressed scandalously.
Oh, and that one droid. They're dressed like how Gamorrean guards typically dress.
I'm not slut shaming. But
yeah, they like to wear like these furry skirts. That's what they looked like in Return of the Jedi.
I know.
But there's that one droid who's voiced by that funny guy Barry. I don't know. I think he's in that vampire show that Taika Waititi made, What We Do in the Shadows.
I haven't seen it.
But I guess they start setting up that not everyone's happy about Boba Fett taking over. There's these the rival Hutts, Jabba's cousins. They feel like they should inherit Jabba's domain.
Well, that doesn't come up till the next chapter.
I guess it's the mayor in this episode.
Yeah.
The mayor of Mos Espa, who didn't want to pay tribute.
Right.
He just sends his
Twi'lek. Secretary.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, go piss him off a little bit. Yeah, I guess a lot of this kind of felt silly to me. Like, it felt weird to be like, oh, I'm going to come in here, kill Bib Fortuna, and then I'm going to start immediately requiring, like, people to pay me. Like, it was weird.
Well, that's him taking over as the new crime lord.
But they also, like, in this episode complained that Bib Fortuna was doing a shitty job. Like, in comparison to the Hutts, I guess. Like, they're like, yeah, that guy kind of sucked. Like, there was a bunch of, like, rivalry and gang action and stuff and unhappiness under him. So, like, when Boba comes and sits, then it's, like, even worse. Because they're like, well, shit. Like, it's already been bad, so everything's up in the air again. But it's just weird to be like I don't really understand.
No one gives him the benefit of the doubt. They're just like, oh, fuck, this new dude. I don't like him either.
What I don't understand, though, is why people have to pay him to do stuff. Like, that makes no sense.
It's like paying taxes. It's like the mafia like controls like the turf, and they're like, you have to pay us, and we'll watch out for you. But if you don't pay.
Seems wrong.
It is wrong. It's like,
I'm like,
it's kind of, but like
they're like, pay us to shoot people or pay us to come over here and bully other people, or it's more like, I hope the city like runs itself and then I don't do anything, but you still have to pay me.
It's a classic thing called a protection racket, though, where like you never watched like an old crime movie and like I don't know, the mafia goes into some like a deli or some local shop and they're like, you got to pay us the protection money or else something bad might happen to you.
Do I look like someone who watches mafia movies?
Just like, well, you watch like a lot of crime stuff.
Yeah, but this was a new concept for me. I was like, this is dumb. Especially when he's just sat there and hasn't done anything. Is more of like what I'm getting at. Is he's just immediately like, I killed the guy, now pay me. I'm like, maybe do something first. Like, poke it with a stick. Are you gonna do something? What else happened in this? Oh, the like cantina scene was dumb. Also,
did they go get their helmets polished in this first episode? Yeah, because then when he gets hurt and goes back in the back to tank, that's when we get the flashback of him coming out of the pit and fighting the 4-armed monster. So,
but yeah, like the sanctuary, the cantina, I feel like has nothing to do with the whole fucking series.
It kind of shows how he interacts with the local businesses. Like,
well, I think they don't do a very good job fleshing that out. It's like either flesh it out more or take it out.
The idea is like they like bribe his helmet. And, like, you know, that's how they, like, pay tribute to him. But then, like, he's also supposed to protect them and make sure that, like, you know, they're able to, like, run their business and make money and nothing bad happens to them. And they end up getting bombed. So.
Kind of shit show there.
Yeah.
Not really doing his job.
But you know, it's like the DS9 episode, Bada Bing, Bada Bang, the Holosuite episode with the Vegas heist, kind of like Ocean's 11, but on Deep Space Nine. It was kind of like that when like the casino had to pay the mafia guy who had bought it, who had taken over.
Oh, okay.
But I guess like in this case, like Boba Fett's not the owner, but he's just like you have to pay your taxes to like used to be this is what Jabba the Hutt did. Like if you ran like a casino like that on Tatooine, you had to pay the local crime lord Jabba the Hutt.
Well, anyway, all of that stuff feels pretty lame. The assassin ambush also felt kind of lame.
I disagree. I like this first episode.
I don't know. Like it just felt like random. I don't know. Like I guess like I still feel like it didn't really explain very well. I don't even know like what my questions are. This is how bad I feel about it. Like
what was confusing?
Like they're hired by the mayor, right? But like maybe not.
The killers.
Yeah.
Well, when he ends up spilling the beans, he said it was the mayor.
That's what he said, but then he went and talked to the mayor, and the mayor was like, "Wasn't me."
But then he also had him shot immediately, so I think it was the mayor.
Okay,
but
that wasn't clear to me.
But the mayor was able to make it. Well, that's what the mayor wants, and what the mayor wants Boba to question if it was actually him, and Jon Favreau, the writer of these first few episodes, does he write the entire thing? Maybe. Yeah, Jon Favreau. Dave Filoni helped out on episode 6, but Jon Favreau has sole credit for the rest of this. So Jon Favreau is the writer. He wants you to be unsure. Maybe the mayor did. Maybe the mayor didn't. But we can go ahead and talk about episode 2. I did want to comment on the Twi'lek boy in the casino, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people pointed out he's the first
sexy
male Twi'lek. He's the first male Twi'lek who has cones, so I think he's a trans boy. It's a lot of people's headcanon.
Alright. That he doesn't have ears.
Yeah. And he doesn't have like the ugly Bib Fortuna Chamson Dula forehead.
Oh man, I might get slayed for this, but it's like Twi'lek twink.
Yeah, no, I think that's appropriate.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's gonna slay you for that.
But we just like totally skipped over the Tusken Raider stuff. So like, is there any of that you want to talk about from episode 1?
Oh, that's the best part of the show.
It is.
That should have been the focus of the show. I guess I was a little taken back rewatching The Mandalorian season 2 after remembering all this good Tusken stuff in the Book of Boba Fett. How in that first episode of The Mandalorian season 2, the great epic Cobb Vanth Mando team up to take out a crate dragon. But there's such a high Tusken Raider body count in that episode, and I thought it was kind of messed up that like none of the human characters die, none of the Freetown folk die, but only the Tuskens die, and it's kind of dehumanizing.
Yeah.
And Star Wars has done that to them from day one. They were often treated as the dangerous savages that are indigenous to the land that come in and ruin all of our peaceful settlements that we built on top of their land. So they're basically like the Native Americans from the Western genre and from American history.
Yeah.
But their way that they're depicted is
expendable.
Like, expendable and like subhuman and less than. They're like, well, there's like animals and.
Is this that loophole though, like where only aliens can get killed on screen and human, so that they get a certain rating?
I don't even think it was like a rating thing. I think it's just kind of like a tone thing, though. It's like well, we want this to come off as real family friendly, and we don't want to we don't want to upset grandma and like the little kids, so we don't want to kill any humans. But they're not going to care about like these faceless Tusken Raiders. They make like the funny noises. If like acid vomit falls down on them, people just be like, ew, gross. They're not gonna be like traumatized.
You're 100% sure no humans died in the crate dragon?
I was watching when we watched that. Like I was keeping an eye out for it. I was surprised.
I didn't even realize that.
But the way that they're handled here, is so much better. We're like they're depicted as like, oh, they're individuals. Like this one's the leader and this one's the little kid and and it's like, oh,
these are their roles.
Yeah, and like they all look a little different. They have personality and it was. Like, as much as it's good, I'm happy for Boba. I don't know why almost being digested by a Sarlacc made him think, like, I really need family in my life. But he came out of that thing immediately, he asked the Rodian, he's like, Rodian, you want me to cut your bombs? And they could have just been like, he thought he had better chances of escaping with some help. Maybe he would have left that Rodian out to dry if push came to shove. So okay, yeah, we'll give him that. Maybe it was just like when he decapitated the four-armed monster, and then he's like celebrate instead of being treated as a slave. This like captured prisoner and slave, he's treated as like a hero.
That's funny. I actually didn't read that he was like looking for a family. Like what I thought is that he kind of like I think it was a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. And he's like, oh, I'm captive, and I'm watching these people, and they're not so bad.
Maybe it was more Stockholm syndrome.
That's what I read it as.
Maybe he lived with them for so long that it made him he wanted to become one of the indigenous people of Tatooine.
This is gonna be really dumb because I haven't fleshed this out completely. It just popped in my head. But if you've seen Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, you remember like the horse is like trying to get broken, like the Little Creek is trying to get Spirit to let him ride him and stuff, and he like never does.
The colonel is trying to break the horse.
No, not that part.
Oh.
Never mind. It's going to be too much to explain, I don't have time for this, and I don't think you remember that movie well enough, and probably no one else will ever be watching Star Wars and know what I'm talking about with Stallion of the Cimarron. But you know who will know? My friend Brittany, and I'll talk to her about it. But long story short is, like, I think that, like, the Tusken Raiders were basically like, this is our little pet. And, like, we're gonna break him, and like one day we'll be able to like let him off leash, and he'll still stick around and do what we want.
I think they hate all foreign invaders, and they're just gonna use him as a slave until he was no longer useful.
Well, then they were like, oh, he's useful. We'll let him decide if he wants to stay or not.
But that's how the episode also ends, is with like the Tusken Raider stuff, and like it kind of ends like this victory moment for Boba Fett after he decapitated it. And the music to the show is so fucking good.
Yeah.
I forgot how much I loved the music to this.
Yeah, and I love like the deep chanting stuff. It's very like. Yeah.
I think they're chanting in Mandalorian language.
Oh, it's neat. Also weird because he's not technically Mandalorian, but
he's the clone of a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He's the clone of a Mandalorian foundling.
I guess.
Yeah, he's like a semi-Mando.
But he doesn't like call himself a Mandalorian.
Because he doesn't want to call himself anything. He thinks he's like more badass.
He's like, I'm mysterious. They want to write me like I'm mysterious.
Let's move on to episode 2, though, chapter 2. We've been talking about the first one for 35 minutes.
No, we talked about other things for 20 minutes. Okay, chapter 2, the tribes of Tatooine. Fett and Shand interrogate the captured assassin who claims to have been hired by Mok Shaiz, the mayor of Mos Espa. Shaiz denies this, but offers payment to Fett for capturing the assassin and suggests that they visit the sanctuary again. Flip informs Fett that 2 of Jabba's cousins, a pair of Hutts known as the Twins, want to claim Jabba's throne for themselves. The twins arrive with the Wookiee bounty hunter, Chrysantin.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm gonna butcher that. Chrysantin.
Yeah, you got it.
And try to intimidate Fett, but he refuses to submit. In the Bacta tank, Fett remembers the Tuskens teaching him their style of combat and desert survival skills. After the tribe was attacked by a Pike Syndicate spice train, Fett stole speeder bikes from a nearby Nikto gang and taught the Tuskens how to ride them. He led the tribe in a successful attack to stop the train and warned the surviving Pikes that they would have to pay a toll to enter Tusken's territory in the future. To be admitted into the Tusken tribe, Fett was guided by a lizard inside his head to a branch which he turned into his own gaffy stick. A ceremony was held to accept Fett into the tribe. Wow, a lot happens in Chapter 2. Also, sorry for all of the laughing. It sounds so ridiculous when you just read it as a summary. I'm like, and then the lizard's in his head. and now this random word, Nikto gang. And
Star Wars is a lot of stupid, silly shit that takes itself seriously. I think that's Star Wars at its best.
It just is oversimplified in these summaries a little bit. But... oh yeah, a lot happens in Chapter 2. This might be my favorite episode because I really love all of the Tusken Raider stuff. I love the ritual of the branch and him like carving his own gaffy stick.
Yeah, the psychedelic trippiness of it. Although it is very... this miniseries, whatever the hell it is, it's very Dune influenced, which Star Wars always had little... You know, we open on a desert planet and they're talking about mining spice and spice smugglers, and you know there's a lot of Dune built into the Star Wars from the very, very beginning, but never as shamelessly as here. And not that I mind it, but just the the indigenous desert people that everyone else, they're basically like the Fremen of
Sure.
Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they take you in, you become one of them, and then you also do it's spice. The drug that he does is called spice.
Yeah.
Then they add a lizard up the nose, but
to give a little bit of Star Trek.
Oh yeah, it's like a steady
Well,
eel.
I guess it's like an ear thing in Star Trek,
Yeah,
but still disgusting.
I wonder if that was Rodriguez or Favreau or Filoni or
it
who
could
came up with
also
that.
be a Matrix reference if they don't, you know what I mean? Like that also is a. There's something that goes in your face
I
in
was
that.
so excited to see this Wookiee, by the way. A lot of times we call him Black K, or I guess Boba calls him Santo a couple of, but the Black Chrysanthemum. Normally I see it written as like the Black Chrysanthemum. But I guess in the TV show it's just Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
But a Wookiee bounty hunter who was created in the Star Wars comics, who like the scar that he has is actually from Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh.
Because I think he was working for Jabba. There were some adventures that Obi-Wan got into on Tatooine, between the prequels and the original trilogy. When he's watching over Luke, and at one point he fights this Wookiee.
Sorry. I was just remembering this one joke, but finish your story first.
I mean, I don't have much more to it than that, but he is a frequently recurring character in the Star Wars comics. It's like sometimes when they need a bounty hunter, how like in Clone Wars, Embo would show up. And I guess now he's shown up in things outside of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that in the comics. Like sometimes Black K would. Sometimes he'd be a good guy. Sometimes he'd be a bad guy. Just depended on that story. Mm-hmm. So kind of traditional bounty hunter like Boba Fett or Embo or what have you. The Star Wars bounty hunters, they're kind of that interesting storytelling tool. You can use them as a good guy or a bad guy, or sometimes
they're
ambiguously.
You know the line that Obi-Wan uses when they're going to the cantina and he's like, this is a vile place or whatever
Yeah,
that
a hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah.
We must be cautious.
And then it's like all these like Muppets in the cantina. And like a lot of people were like a lot of people apparently were like, what does he mean? Like this isn't even that crazy. Like there's no way this is the worst bar. And then I saw a joke though that was something like, no, you don't understand. Like Obi-Wan was on Tatooine for 19 years or something, and he has personal beef with every single person in that cantina, and that's why he calls it like the ultimate hive of villainy or whatever.
I mean, as soon as they go in there, they're like the bar is racist against the droids.
Yeah.
They're told like, we don't serve their kind here, and like a very racisty sounding voice, and then someone threatens Luke.
Yeah.
And to the point that Obi-Wan feels it necessary to cut his arm off because the guy is reaching for a gun.
And he probably has beef with that guy.
Yeah,
And
but
this was his last straw.
I feel like I don't know. I never questioned it was a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
But it would be funny to know about Obi-Wan and Chrysanthemum's shenanigans. I don't know anything about it. But like I think about that. I'm like,
They got in a fight in that bar one time and everyone sided with Chrysanthemum.
Yes.
Yeah. And Ben held on to that. Like it's like why he ended up having to work at that like the butchering the animal.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta be way out here. But I thought the Chrysanthemum character was really cool. And he's definitely intimidating as hell.
He shows up with the twin. So like these two huts come being carried into town.
This was the stupidest thing. I'm sorry, but
you think the twins are stupid?
Yeah, also I'm pretty sure it's incestuous. And
why?
Because they're literally wrapped around each other. Like you can't even tell like where one starts and where one ends.
But maybe that's how like they were born. That's how they were hatched. Maybe
they were hatched.
Yeah, they're.
But
I don't know how. Actually, like I think huts are birthed and then they live inside of their parents' pouch for like a year or something.
Ew. So they're.
Or maybe it's for like 10 years.
What do you call that? The kangaroo pouch.
Yeah. Marsupial.
Marsupials? Ugh, I didn't even know
They're marsupial slugs from Space Louisiana who control all of the crime in Star Wars.
Can't make this shit up. Oh, I guess someone can.
Yeah, George Lucas can.
But I thought that their entrance was ridiculous. Like,
wait.
Let me back up.
I think they're a good threat.
But they don't come back. Like, nothing
They
happens
come back to
with
get him the
them.
Rancor.
Okay, so they come in and they threaten him, and then he's like, well... No, that's like literally it. They come in, they introduce themselves, they're like, we're gonna deal with this later, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna fuck you up and take our throne back.
They wanted...
And then nothing, they don't do anything.
Yes, they do. They play a big role later on, because when the Pikes want this Tatooine territory, you know, it's kind of like the Hutts want it, but they don't want it bad enough to fight Boba and the Pikes.
Yeah.
So they say, like, hey,
we'll back Boba.
They don't even say that they'll back him. They just say that they're not going to get involved. They don't want to be in a war. It's bad for business. And there's like this sly move where like they offer the Rancor to Boba, and he's like, and they offer like their apologies for their assassination attempt. And is that it? Well, that's
it's a later episode.
But anyways, when he asked them to like relinquish their claim to Tatooine, and they're careful like not to say that. They're just like, oh, Tatooine's a garbage planet anyways. Who wants it? But they can sit back and watch Boba and the Pikes fight it out, and then whoever wins that fight is going to be weakened, and they can swoop in. And they, like, the Pikes, or, you know, smart money is on the Pikes, right? They have the infrastructure, they have the manpower, they have the money, they have the drugs, the political ties with the mayor. They're probably going to win this fight. So just to make it interesting, let's give Boba a Rancor.
And Chrysanthemum.
So, yeah, they were basically just leveling the playing field so that they can come in and then take the planet back from the Pikes or Boba.
I just felt like it was pretty lame. Like, I didn't think they did enough. I think that is constantly my complaint with the present day arc stuff. It's like either push that more or, like, take it out. Mm-hmm. That's my complaint. And I feel like that's how I feel about the twins. You
feel like, oh, they're just, like, wasting time.
Yes.
And when, you know, we could be learning about, like, a compelling Pike villain. Like, the Pike bad guys, like, there's one of them...
flat.
Yeah, he's voiced by Phil Lamar, who's one of our Star Wars recurring actors. He voices Bail Organa and all the animated stuff, and Kit Fisto. But, yeah, he's a very just, like... bland, generic bad guy villain. He's like how I always just like say Darth Maul is so uninteresting in the Phantom Menace. He just like looks cool and scary, but he's just like, I'm a bad guy who's here to be a bad guy who fights good guys. That's basically this Pike. He's like
yeah, but also like this Pike is like, okay, maybe this is gonna sound racist, speciesist.
Pop the top again. You're gonna be racist against the Pikes.
They all look the same. They do. Like, every single one of them has the same cone-shaped armor and the same outfit.
You're right. There's not much personality
because they
there.
don't even show their face most of the time, so you can't even see, like, different colors.
When they do show their face in the show, they're hideous.
They're horrible.
They don't look like how they look on the Clone Wars.
I would love them to look more like on the Clone Wars, because they were intimidating as hell, like, in the Season 7, when Ahsoka and the Martell sisters go to Badia.
Or in Season 6, in the Sifo Dyas arc.
When they're like trying to get his necklace.
And it's also like when they have like when they're vaping, when they have like their vape mods, and it's kind of like, but it kind of makes them look creepy and mysterious, and like
they just look so boring in this show.
They're always like a little high on spice.
They don't have any riz. That's the problem.
You know how like they were so polite in Clone Wars? They were like, we're just here
neutral.
to do business. We're just here to make money.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Maul is taking over Mandalore. We can work with that.
Yeah, they're like, whatever y'all want. As long as I can move my spice and make some money. Like, we already have a whole routine. Like, come in, lead us, don't lead us, don't give a shit. Although, to be fair,
I guess Boba being like Boba Fett has like the war on drugs. He's like, he comes in here like Dare.
I was just about to say that. I was like, he's like the Dare leader. The Dare police officer. Drugs is bad.
Interesting side story. My 5th grade Dare teacher was the Rockdale, Texas chief of police, who also got in trouble and went to the pen for being a drug dealer himself.
Hypocritical.
Yeah, well. Turns out some people who work in law enforcement are the actual bad guys.
No way.
But yeah, so Boba Fett, I guess if you're going to cut Tatooine completely out of the spice market, I guess that is enough to get like the Pike army called down on you.
To be fair, I get it because nothing is happening on Tatooine.
All the stuff is very Dune. Like that's the whole point of Dune is
everyone's fucking bored and has no water, so they want to be high. That's the vibe.
But we also don't see like the downside of like. Are there supposed to be like a lot of like spice heads and like the alleys like?
And I think it's weird because there's like this whole like, oh well, the people of Tatooine don't want the Pikes, they don't want spice, and I'm like, but if they have spice here, someone wants the spice, and they don't show you who's like the buyer.
Yeah. Or is it just like
is it just like a middleman?
Or is it like a hub for smuggling? Because like Han Solo, it sounded like he did a lot of operations for Jabba out of Tatooine. And the thing we know that he did at least one time was smuggle spice. And they, at one point, Fennec Shand, who we haven't really brought up at all, but at one point she even says, well, like, spice was most of Jabba's business.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
She's like, well, you're really trying to turn things around cold turkey.
Yeah.
And then the only other part of this episode is the Tusken backstory. Again, with the ceremony stuff. Oh, we kind of talked about that.
The lizard trip stuff is cool. Like, making the Gaffy. Oh, I love how Tamora Morrison was able to bring some of his, like, native Maori culture. Like, they kind of do, like, some, like, New Zealand Haka type stuff.
Yeah. The ritual around the campfire was super cool.
And I liked that kind of explaining the Boba Fett we saw beating the fucking shit out of those stormtroopers in Mando Season 2. I mean, I'm sorry, in Mando Season 2. I'm getting my Star Wars shows confused. But also that episode directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah, because he has his stick in that. Yeah, the Gaffy stick.
And so it was cool, like, kind of seeing the origin of all of that.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, and that place, like, where they're standing in front of, like, that metal debris in the desert.
Yeah.
Like, where he's, like, cutting the tree. Yeah, so, like, that piece of metal debris, that's from, like, a really famous Ralph McQuarrie concept art of the Sand People that was in a lot of stuff. But, very intentionally. There's some cool little inside jokes like that in the show.
I don't know about inside jokes. I would say, like deep cut references, or no?
What would be the definition of an inside joke?
Oh, well, if you say joke, that makes me think, haha. Never mind. But specific Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to call those inside jokes in the old days, and now they're called Easter eggs because it's more clickbaity.
I think it's because inside jokes are like something that you would like laugh about. You know what I mean? Okay, I think we need to move on to chapter 3.
Chapter 2 is when they first go and meet with the mayor, and we get that conversation that we were just talking about. But I want to point out he's voiced by Robert Rodriguez.
Oh.
He has like that. It's the same thing as the bartender on Ezra's home planet Lothal. Remember that hammerhead? He had like that translator.
Yeah.
That he wore. Talks that kind of like computery AI voice.
Yeah.
So, same technology here. And I guess there's also like a lot of like Western vibes of like with the Pikes coming in on the railroad. It's like the white people on the railroad, like shooting the Indians' buffalo when they're like shooting the bantha. So,
yeah, the train sequence was really cool. Like the teaching them to ride the bikes and then taking down the train.
Very Westerny though to do like a train heist.
Yeah,
and it's also like how the Native Americans, when like the white people came to this continent and brought horses, and the Native Americans were like, well, fuck, we'll learn to ride these too. And, it's kind of cool to see that that kind of asymmetrical warfare. Like, well, we'll just learn how to use your shit, kind of thing. But we can move on to chapter 4. Chapter 3, the Streets of Mos Espa.
Fett is asked by water monger Lortha Peel to punish a gang of cyborgs who are stealing his water in Mos Espa, claiming that the citizens of Tatooine do not respect Fett yet. Upon seeing that the gang has no work, Fett employs the cyborgs as enforcers and demands that Peel reduce his prices. In his back-to-tank, Fett recalls seeking the toll from the Pikes on behalf of the Tusken tribe, only to find the tribe destroyed by the Nikto gang on his return. His memories are interrupted when Fett is attacked by a chrysanthemum. Fett, Shand, and the guards and the cyborgs fight off and capture the Wookiee. The twins soon apologize for sending Chrysanthemum, claiming that Shaiz, the mayor, has promised Jabba's territory to another syndicate. The twins vow to leave Tatooine and gift a Rancor to Fett. After releasing Chrysanthemum and resolving to train the Rancor, Fett goes to Mos Espa with Shand and the cyborgs to question Shaiz. They find the mayor absent, but chase down his majordomo, who reveals that Shaiz is working with the Pikes. Wow. Later, the Pikes begin arriving in Mos Espa, and Fett decides to prepare for war. Okay, we get the mod teenagers, the emo goth kiddos.
So they're based on the mod gangs of in England in the 50s, the kids who would ride around on scooters. But they don't look very Tatooine to me.
No,
You know, it's like
they're too pale.
Not just like the kids, but like their vehicles. They're too poor to buy water. They're having to steal water, but they're able to afford these modifications and vehicles. But like I don't know, I kind of wish
financial priorities.
I kind of wish they looked a little bit more instead of like cyberpunky. I kind of wish they looked not like steampunky, but just kind of like I don't know, just like
weathered.
Yeah, weathered. Like I want them to be like rusty. I want them to be like rusty cyborgs.
Oh yeah, they look too crispy clean. Like they're really fresh out of the.
They're
Vespas,
chromy. Yeah, like their Vespas, they look like they went to like the Apple store and like they each bought like the different color variant of the same product.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they were like a little bit more like there's just like some rusty shit we built in our backyard because we're poor.
I agree with that, mostly also because Tatooine is such a rugged planet. It would be very hard to keep your vehicle at that level of like a brand new
if
condition.
That's what you're spending all your time and money on, and that's why you don't have money to. That's why you're having to steal your water. Yeah. It is kind of neat to see like, well, these are the city kids of These are the Mos Espa kids. They live in the big city. You know, Luke was like out in the country. He was just like this hick out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like seeing the different sides of Tatooine culture, which is it's kind of like how Rebels can explore Lothal so much, or Ferrix on Andor. I do think it is kind of cool. You know, I think maybe at the time I might have been one of the people who I'm sure were frustrated with a Tatooine-based show, since that's between that and Coruscant, the planet we've seen the most of in Star Wars. Yeah. But I don't know. There's something I kind of like about Tatooine. I guess just because just growing up thinking so much about Luke growing up.
Yeah.
And now like with the prequels and seeing like Anakin and Shmi lived in Mos Espa. Which looked a little different there. We didn't see like the cool cliffs and stuff they got here. So that was like that part that we see in the Phantom Menace. That was like the spaceport. That's like I guess that's like out in like the suburbs or something.
Yeah.
This is like downtown where the mayor is. But yeah, it's a cool looking place. It's like noticeably different from Mos Eisley. You go to Mos Pelgo, and that's like, that's like going to like downtown Kyle, Texas. That's like the little town. So yeah, I like how like each place, if you just saw like just a glimpse of a scene, you would know like, oh, which of the cities of Tatooine it's on. You'd recognize the planet, but also which flavor of the planet. The Tatooine world building. I'm gonna give the show a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
But the mod kids were the only part that stands out and makes me think like that didn't quite jive with the rest of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if they were just a little bit more dirty, it would work better. But I think they're a little too clean and chromy, and they also all kind of have like the same teenage kid attitude that's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, none of those characters are interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's like, oh, just be here and be a little bratty because you're a teenager. Like, that's, I feel like, the direction that all of them got. What else? Chrysanthemum attacks Fett.
Yeah, that was scary to imagine.
Have him, ripped out of his memory was really a good...
Yeah, imagine having a Wookiee rip you out of bed in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that'd be scary. Especially this one.
It's a good fight. Well done, Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, but they like immediately capture him. They did really well, honestly, getting him into the Rancor cage. And yeah, the twins are basically like, "Ooh, sorry, bye.
Oh,
Have this Rancor. You're welcome.
This
Good
also
luck."
this has the flashbacks of I guess when Boba went to Mos Eisley to meet with the Pikes.
Yeah.
And that's when they killed his tribe but made it look like the Nikto gang.
Yeah.
But you also see, like, okay, this has been some time after Return of the Jedi, because, like, last time we saw Mos Eisley, it was crawling with stormtroopers, and now they're putting their helmets on Pikes. And we also see Pella? What's her name? Peli Moto, I think is her last name. But her and her pit droids walk by.
Yeah.
I always complain about the Star Wars small universe, but I've said, like, you kind of just have to accept it with Star Wars.
Well,
like,
she ends up becoming a bigger part in the show
oh,
later.
Yeah,
so,
I know, yeah.
So they're, like, reminding you where you are.
Boba runs into her all the time, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, there was something else I was going to say about, the Rancor, I guess.
This is when the Hutts gift the Rancor.
Yeah. And they gift Danny Trejo for a hot minute as the Rancor trainer. I felt like all of this was very rushed. I liked seeing Fett wanting and eager to bond with the Rancor. Like, he was like, oh, I'm going to imprint on it.
But
and
also
I want to learn how to ride it.
But he has to replace Jabba's menagerie.
Yeah.
Like, he had other creatures in there other than the Rancor. Like, there's those robo spider guys. It's actually like a brain in a tank and like a robot spider body. Mm-hmm. But there's one of those that kind of like chases C-3PO.
Okay.
And you see one of those in one of these episodes. It opens with one of those. So I guess they're still hanging around. But there's also like that thing with tentacles that like reached out and grabbed C-3PO when they're processing him with the other droids. Mm-hmm. So Jabba had like a collection of animals. I guess that would both like show off his wealth, but also he could use them to intimidate people and occasionally feed people to them. Mm-hmm. So I guess Boba he's like, that's one of the things I have to do to build my empire, is I have to like build up a menagerie again.
See, and I think this is a failure of Boba Fett though, because it's like you can't just do the same thing Jabba was doing. Like, have your own thing. Why does it also have to be a Rancor?
Well, he walks on his own 2 feet instead of being carried on a litter. Is that what it's called?
That's what they keep calling it, but I don't think I've ever heard it called that before.
You see that on Orion in Star Trek Lower Decks. When Tendy's embarrassed that her family is that rich. That's how her and Mariner and Talon are being carried around.
Yeah.
She called it a sedan. Then.
Yeah.
Like
I think
like
there's different words for it in different cultures.
No.
Okay, anything else on this episode?
I do not believe so. We can move on to episode 4, The Gathering Storm.
In the Bacta tank, Fett remembers trying to reclaim his Fire Spray class gunship, the Slave One, from Jabba's palace.
Disney doesn't like to call it the Slave One anymore, which is weird.
So I'm just going to call it that in here because it sounds
just
weird.
Call it the Slave One.
It sounds weird to say Fire Spray class gunship, okay? From Jabba's palace. Anyways, which was heavily guarded. When he discovered Shand dying from a gut wound, Fett took her to a Mos Eisley mod parlor where her life was saved with cybernetics. In return, Fett requested Shand's help to break into the palace, now ruled by Bib Fortuna. After fighting the guards and retrieving Fett's ship, Shand decided to stay with Fett. They killed the biker gang that Fett believed to have massacred his Tusken tribe before flying to the Sarlacc pit to retrieve his armor. Shand killed the attacking Sarlacc with a seismic charge, though Fett did not find his armor inside. In the present, Fett emerges from the Bacta tank fully healed. He witnesses Chrysanthemum fighting Trandoshans in the sanctuary and hires him. At a banquet, he urges Mos Espa's other crime bosses to unite against the Pike Syndicate, but they refuse. But they do agree to remain neutral if someone asks for them to join their side, which is not mentioned in the summary.
But they were all 3 lying when they said, because they all 3 actually betrayed.
Terrible. So. With the Rancor's presence, Fett convinces them to remain neutral. Oh, sorry, I just kept reading. While he fights the Syndicate alone. Shand suggests that they hire reinforcements for the imminent war. Sorry.
So, in this episode, you get kind of the backstory on Finnick Shand, or at least like what happens.
How he found her.
Yeah.
How they ganged up.
What she does in between seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian.
Right.
And kind of the explanation of why she sticks around and helps out Boba.
She has a big old crush on that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't see it before, but ever since she said it, I'm like, I think she does. Maybe a little bit. It's not super obvious.
Yeah, she's only there because she wants to be there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, good for her. Like,
yeah.
I like her having her own agency like that. Like,
yeah.
If that's what you want to do, Finnick Shand, then you go for it.
Yeah, I think she's looking for a little stability after becoming part cyborg.
Yeah, and having like a near-death experience.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? I just had my Sarlacc experience.
Just like
I also want to be better.
The guy who like saved her life, she thought he was really cute and interesting. It was like
she also likes his ship.
And he seems to have like a bright future. Like, damn, like this guy might take over Tatooine.
Yeah.
So.
I love that she's the one that discharged that giant seismic bomb into the Sarlacc, and he's like, next time don't touch my buttons or something. But she's like, you're welcome, you asshole.
But to him, that's like a sacred. That's like what him and his dad used to do.
Yeah.
They would like fight Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But I thought that was all kind of ridiculous. Like, I guess it didn't make sense to me that his armor would be in the Sarlacc pit. I know we saw the Jawas take it off of him, and he was passed the fuck out.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb to go look back at. Like, he should have gone and looked for the Jawas.
Yeah, but it
like,
just
he should have
feels
been
like
looking for a sand crawler.
Oh, you would remember crawling out of the Sarlacc, I would think, and being in your armor before you pass out.
I guess he couldn't find any sign of the Jawas, so maybe he was hoping that they got ate by the Sarlacc
I guess. But then also, like, when she releases that bomb into it, and then he still goes into the Sarlacc to, like, look for it, I'm like, wouldn't that have destroyed his armor? Or is Beskar, like, really that strong that the seismic charge could...
Apparently,
I would be like, it would be decimated, in my opinion.
No, that's
but
only Beskar can destroy.
I thought it was ridiculous that he went back inside the Sarlacc. I was like, ew, I didn't need to see this again. But
yeah,
I felt
that was nasty.
That felt more like, oh, we already made this set and we're gonna use it again. To me, is what it felt like. But I really liked getting like the Shand backstory and her being taken to the mod people, because it kind of ties back into our mod gang that are now working for Fett. And kind of explains her loyalties a little bit better. We already kind of discussed that, but I do like that she kind of freaks out when she wakes up, and she's like, what the hell happened to my stomach, She's like, this is a literal pumping, like, piston where my stomach should be. Anyway, so yeah, they kill the biker gang that they think killed the Tusken tribe. See, and I feel like he wasn't, like, angry enough. I don't feel like... I guess I wanted bigger reaction, like, bigger emotions off of him, and I guess that kind of all felt flat.
He tries to play it like a stoic Clint Eastwood type.
Yeah, and I think that doesn't work for me. Just knowing Boba is such an emotional teenager.
Yeah, well, remember how, like, when he's fighting those stormtroopers in... The Mandalorian season 2, in that episode, the tragedy, right, when Grogu gets abducted. Well, like he looked like a fucking like barbarian.
Yeah.
With like a he's like he's in like fight or flight mode, and he's 100% fight.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of wish we got some of that vibes in this episode when he was getting revenge, especially.
Yeah, that kind of would have been cool to see, like, you know how, like, the Rancor is, like, this big rage monster at the end? Like, that kind of, like, that's kind of meant to, like, represent Boba a little, like this, like, rage and anger and stuff, but, like, it would have been cool, like, to see him, like, cut loose here on the Nikto gang.
Yeah.
And then learn, like, oh, fuck, those weren't even, like, the right guys.
But I wonder if maybe the writers were like, we can't do that to yet another group of people on Tatooine. Like, Anakin came and, like, wiped out that whole...
Village. Yeah, committed mass
they're
murder,
like, actually, a lot of our fan base did not like that when we did our pro tag doing that, so maybe we shouldn't do that again. Anyway, okay, so what else? I liked Chrysanthemum fighting the Trandoshans, because we know that the Trandos were the ones that wiped out the Wookiees.
Yeah,
or were
or they
capturing
would-
the Wookiees
yeah,
for the Empire.
Because the Empire liked using them as slaves, and the Trandos like to hunt. I mean, the Trandos like to like kill and I think
hunt everything.
eat them. But like the Wookiee pelts are like a prized
Trandoshan
trophy for the
yeah.
Trandos, and that's actually what the Trandoshan offers as his tribute to Boba in the first episode as a fucking Wookiee pelt. But that's like that was a living dude. That was a person.
Yeah, insanity. The Trandoshans are fucking crazy. Psycho,
I love them, though.
Psycho aliens.
I think they're fun.
They're like mass serial killers.
Bosk should have showed up. I want to know what's up with Bosk. Like, I want Bosk to find out, like, Boba, you're still alive. Like, let's hang out. They could have had Bosk instead of the Chrysanthemum, but we like him.
Yeah. Well,
you ready to jump ship?
Yeah, ready. Literally. Here we go. The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 9.
Yeah, Season 2.5. This is
what is this?
Chapter 16.5 of The Mandalorian. Return of the Mandalorian.
Alright. After Din Djarin tracks and kills a bounty, he delivers the bounty's head for directions to a Mandalorian hideout. There he finds the Armorer and Paz Vizsla, survivors of their tribe of Mandalorian warriors who inspect the Darksaber that he won from Moff Gideon. The Armorer explains that whoever wins the Darksaber in combat can become the ruler of Mandalore, though their civilization was destroyed by the Empire. The Armorer turns Djarin's Beskar spear into a gift for his former charge, Grogu. Vizsla, a descendant of the Darksaber's creator, Tar Vizsla, or Tare Vizsla?
It's Tar Vizsla.
Tar Vizsla challenges Djarin, sorry, these words are so hard for me. Djarin.
This is Djarin. Din Djarin.
I'm doing great. It's like the word Jin.
Yeah.
Okay, Djarin. To a duel for the saber. Djarin defeats Vizsla, but reveals that he previously broke their tribe's code by removing his helmet. Rejected by the tribe, Djarin takes a commercial transport to meet Peli Motto on Tatooine, who has an old N1 starfighter to replace his previous ship, the Razor Crest, R.I.P. Working together, they fix and modify the starship, and Djarin takes it for a test flight. Upon his return, Fennec Shand arrives and asks Djarin to assist Boba Fett in the upcoming war. He agrees, but only after he visits a friend. They also forget to mention that he got pulled over by 2 X-Wings during his test flight. So,
well, they attempted to pull him over.
Some of this episode annoys the bejesus out of me.
I think this is a really good episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But what annoys you?
I can't believe, I don't think that the Armorer and Paz Vizsla are the only survivors of Navarro.
That is really dark if that's the case, because they were like little kids.
Yeah.
So I assume that like the little kids weren't there for like the big fight. So the little kids were already evacuated, and I think what he means is like out of all of us who stayed behind to help you in that battle, like only me and the Armorer made it out.
Or have they not told him that there's another Mandalorian hideout? Because in season 3 of The Mandalorian, there's like another Mandalorian like community on that planet where that big creature like jumps out of the water and tries to eat the kids.
Yeah, well, we haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
that's
I
like
hope
the reveal there. Maybe he's like, I thought we were all wiped out, and like no, like, we actually like sent all the kids here.
But yeah, I don't really like Vizsla challenging Djarin for the Darksaber. I don't like Djarin in the armor. Like a lot of the like fighting between, you're like, oh, I love all that.
No, well, it makes sense. Like he was kind of like an asshole like that in season 1. So it's, and knowing like who his.
He has claim to it just because he thinks he does because of blood.
But either like his dad or his granddad was the guy who Maul fought in the
right.
pre-Vizsla.
Yeah, I get that.
Also voiced by Jon Favreau, who also wrote this.
But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like some of that was rushed.
Somewhere on that moon of Concordia, where all the radical Mandos were Satine banished everyone.
Yeah.
And that's Django, I guess, was a foundling who grew up there, and Death Watch came from there, and
Finnick Raw, wasn't he also not Finnick?
Finn Rao.
Finn Rao.
No, he was Concord Dawn. Was that a
But weren't they
Mandalorian colony?
Weren't they on that moon?
No, they had like their own solar system.
Oh, okay.
Concord Dawn. Yeah,
okay.
Somewhere on Concordia, there's like a line of Mandalorians that have a New York accent. The Vizslas are from, like the character Tar Vizsla, who was the first Mando to become a Jedi, which also makes it sound like it's happened more than once. There's been Mandalorian Jedi. But Tar Vizsla the first, who forged the Darksaber over 1,000 years ago, like, I always thought he sounded like a super cool character, but now I'm like, does he have like this like Jon Favreau New York accent that's like the same voice?
Probably. If they ever do have him, it'll be Favreau for sure.
Oh.
I also think I was actually very sad about the spear getting melted down.
But I like Grogu's shirt. I like the mithril armor.
That's what I said. I was like, it's like Lord of the Rings.
I think that's what everyone says.
Oh, okay.
I think like saying like this is like an episode of The Mandalorian. I think everyone's like, this is like that shirt that Bilbo gave Frodo.
Yeah, but
it's also like small. It's like miniature sized.
Yeah, I just feel like that spear would have made more than just that shirt. But I guess like he does frequently donate the rest of his Beskar for the foundlings.
Yeah.
So maybe there was some left over, but they didn't mention it. But I also like when the armor creates it and she like ties it into a little pouch that looks like Grogu's little ears flopping. That was so cute. But yeah, I like seeing like the Mandalorian like mourning and missing Grogu.
And it's like it was a cool opening to show him like doing a bounty hunting job, and he goes into that butcher shop and he's fighting those pug-faced dudes, but
he burns himself.
I love. Oh yeah, like, and he's using the Darksaber. This is the first time we've seen him like, whoa, I guess he uses the Darksaber like on the job when he's bounty hunting. But like here he's like, oh, maybe he shouldn't use it because he always like sliced his leg off.
This is like one time my dad was like chopping. He was sawing at the property and he was all by himself, and he did that same move that the Mandalorian did and swiped his leg like that. And now my dad is no longer allowed to use the chainsaw unsupervised.
And then when he tells all of the workers, like after he like beheads their boss, he's like, y'all can fight me,
or y'all can fight each other for the money in that room.
No, he says go in there and like help yourselves to what you feel like your former employer owed you. You know?
But so they're gonna fight over all that.
I just like that just from I don't know, maybe the workers would have just equally divided it up.
Well, we'll never know because they don't cover it.
But he was just doing all that stuff to find. I guess he needed information on how to find
the Mandalorians.
Yeah, and then he finds that it's only 2 of them.
You would think that the Mandalorians would have like a better communication system to be able to find each other without asking other random people who aren't Mandalorians.
No, I like that. It shows that he's been out of contact for a while. That like on this mission to return Grogu.
Yeah, so I get that, but I mean like like you're a Mandalorian and you have very few communities left, and you don't want like random people to discover your Mandalorian hideout or your new compound or whatever. But then like randomly these people who are hiring bounty hunters like know where they are. Why do they know where they are? And there's not some secret code that, like, the Mandalorian can, like, send a ping and, like, get that information.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Like, or, like, if he already knew to switch his helmet into, like, that ultra UV mode.
No, I don't want him to know how to find them. I like that he doesn't know how to find them because that shows that he hasn't talked to them in a long time. And he's, like, really out of contact.
I understand what you're saying, but I think that on purpose, they would have a way for lost Mandalorians to find them.
And they usually would have, but he's just been like out of the loop for so long. Or like they're just like so diminished now that they haven't had time to like leave all of the secret markers, or he hasn't been like updated on what like the newest codes are.
I guess.
But because when he does like interact with these Mandalorians, he has like a lot of like guilt, he's like, oh, I've like strayed from the way, I've been bad,
I took off my helmet. Someone's seen my face. And they're
Well,
like, get the fuck out.
I like that, the conversation he has with the armorer, though, about, like, the opposite philosophies between the Mandalorians and the Jedi. How the Jedi must have no attachments. You know, he's getting, like, all this discouragement from... Like, everyone's telling him, like, yeah, if your kid's gonna be a Jedi, you have to let go of your kid. And, you know, even, like, this armorer knows that. And when she says, you know, like, the Jedi, like, they have to let go of everyone. And then he says, that's the total opposite of our beliefs, though. Because, like, to us, like, the clan is everything. The coven is everything. The solidarity is, like, essential.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like weapons. It's part of his religion. But it's kind of like that, highlighting that opposite ends of the spectrum with the Jedi and the Mandalorians, and how loyalty is everything to the Mandalorians. Like, the concept of letting go of each other is so foreign.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other half of the episode is him getting a new ride. The N1 Starfighter.
So this bothered me the first time I watched this. I guess I'm less of a prequel hater now. So the N1 Starfighter, it grew on me. I think I told you when we were watching the prequels and Clone Wars, I kind of enjoyed seeing it. I don't... like when Padme and Ahsoka, like they're piloting N1 Starfighters together at one point.
I guess I had forgot that it came up in The Mandalorian, so... Because you're pretty good at... Because I asked you not to spoil things, because I forget things, so... I didn't pay attention to the... I also don't really pay attention to the ships as much as you do.
Yeah, it's the same thing that Anakin blows up the droid control ship in the Phantom Menace with.
Okay.
Those gold Naboo starfighters.
But I really loved him working with her to fix it up.
Yeah.
But I just really quick... This is not a good replacement for the Razor Crest. Because the Razor Crest was also a house.
Yeah, it's a terrible vehicle for a bounty hunter. Because where are you going to store your
That's
your
what
bounties?
I was saying. Is like you have nowhere to sleep. You have nowhere to have your prisoner / I guess if they he's no longer taking them warm. He can only take them beheaded cold. And just
like,
the head.
Just keeps the decapitated heads in the glove box.
I guess. But like there's no room for extra clothes. Where does he store his food? There's nowhere to pee or poop. So, like, how the hell is... This is a terrible replacement.
I think you can probably pee or poop in there. There's probably a system for that.
Well, that's gross. Grogu's gonna have to see
like,
that.
Luke goes on some really long voyages in his X-Wing. Like,
yeah, but those are, like, temporary voyages. This is, like, his full-time place where
But I'm just saying, like, if you go on, like, you know, if you're traveling for, like, over 12 hours between systems, you're probably going to need to take care of business on board your ship.
He went from, like, owning an RV to, like, owning, like, a sports car.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, those are very different needs. You know
Quite
what I mean?
a bit, yeah.
So that was my only gripe. Is like I don't think it actually is the best vehicle for his occupation. Especially with the little kid.
They do look cute when Grogu is up in the droid socket.
But now he can't like jump up into Mando's arms and like he's like always going to be in that little bubble.
Unless there's like a little tunnel system where you can like
maybe
crawl down and get into the cockpit.
Maybe there is.
But yeah, it would be weird if he has to go like land the ship and then get out and then go back there and get Grogu out.
I think that's how it is. I don't know. But I do like him working with Peli to fix it up because, like, he is obviously like, oh, this is an awful ship. I don't want this.
I like learning a bit more about her. She says she's a local gal to Tatooine, has never even been off-world. So she's kind of like that Mon Calamari we met in Rebels who likes to work on ships but doesn't like to fly.
Yeah.
And she also dated a Jawa. So
that was funny. She's like, furry. Very furry.
This is some interesting Tatooine world building. Like, I guess sometimes people date Jawas. I never thought about it.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I guess that would happen.
It was funny when that Jawa heard that and he started hitting on her and she was like, oh, I'm working on myself right now. Like,
yeah, well, no, she's into Twi'leks now, apparently.
Yeah. But, I did think it was smart to show Jaren like building the ship with her because it's such a different ship than the Razor Crest, and like he constantly was doing repairs on that poor damn ship, was like falling apart the whole time. And I was thinking like, oh, if he's never flown a N1 starfighter, like he's gonna have to learn how to fix this ship. So I think it was smart to show him working with her and like building it together.
It's an interesting detail they pointed out, but he must have a thing for pre-Imperial ships.
Yeah.
Because
they don't have the codes.
It's like after Palpatine takes over, makes it the Empire, the government is like tracking every vehicle.
Yeah, he doesn't want a VIN number.
Yeah. Yeah, he wants to stay off the grid.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems like a super awkward ship at first. Like they fly it, and it goes really fucking fast.
The big part of this, I guess, that bothered me now that I think about it, it was just more of like the Star Wars small universe. Because then when he leaves the Mos Eisley spaceport and he takes it through Beggar's Canyon, which I guess is part of the pod race from the Boonta Eve classic from the Phantom Menace, but it's like, okay, he's on Tatooine, the homeworld of Luke Skywalker, the star of the Star Wars saga, and then he happens to get this vehicle that is, it is the starfighter of the Royal Honor Guard of his Queen Mom from his other planet, Naboo. And then Din Djarin gets in it, and then he takes it down the same path that Luke Skywalker's dad happened to race his pod racer down. Yeah. It's just like a whole lot of small universe packed into one episode. On top of the huge fucking coincidence that of all the any day that it could have been, it just happened to be like the one day Boba Fett was looking for Din Djarin was the day that Peli had a replacement ship ready for him.
Of course.
Like, I mean, I guess it was the will of the Force that that Grogu's dad gets a new car. But yeah, that was. But then on top of all the other coincidences too, it's just because then all these Luke Skywalker connections, and then where the fuck is his kid? With Luke fucking Skywalker. Like, it just so happens that while your kid is with Luke, you're in, like, his hometown, and you get, like, this random ship that just happens to be from, like, his mom's home planet, and you just happen to test drive it where, like, his dad used to race as a kid. This is, like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, some people say that, like, Star Trek needs to, like, lay off of Spock. It just is always around Spock. I guess Star Wars is always around Luke, but... Yeah. That was a lot in one episode.
Yeah, agree. You ready for chapter 6?
Let me see. Probably. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Chapter 6, From the Desert Comes a Stranger.
Cobb Vanth, Marshal of Tatooine's Freetown, formerly Mos Pelgo, confronts and shoots Pike Spice Runners. Djarin flies to a forested world to visit Grogu, where he is greeted by R2-D2 and Ahsoka Tano. Tano convinces Djarin that his presence will hinder Grogu, so he returns to Tatooine after asking Tano to deliver the gift, a Beskar chainmail tunic, to the youngling. Jedi Master Luke Skywalker has begun training Grogu, his first student, to use the Force. Skywalker helps the youngling remember his home, the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, where he saw many Jedi killed during Order 66. Fett and his allies discuss their manpower shortage, and Djarin travels to Freetown to enlist Vanth and his people. After Djarin leaves, hired gun Cad Bane arrives on behalf of the Pikes to order the town to be neutral in the upcoming war. Following a standoff, Bane shoots both the marshal and his deputy. He didn't shoot the sheriff. He also shot the deputy. Two Pikes later bombed the sanctuary in Mos Espa. Skywalker, bearing Djarin's gift, gives a choice to Grogu. Take the chainmail and stop his Jedi training, or take Yoda's lightsaber and be trained as a Jedi.
Yeah, very lone wolf and cub. Yeah. This is such a core episode of The Mandalorian in the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, terrible placement.
Like Grogu's fate determined in another show.
So weird. But there's parts of this I like, and a lot of it I don't like. And I'm just gonna blanket it, but this continues my pissy attitude about the Jedi Order bullshit.
Yeah.
And it makes me so mad that Ahsoka, who learned that this was a problem, comes in here and lets Luke just roll with that same Jedi Order bullshit.
Yeah.
She's not like, hey, as your elder, as someone who actually was part of the Jedi Order, maybe don't do it like that.
Well, yeah, she should have learned from Ezra and Kanan.
Yeah.
How, like, they were Jedi who learned how to use their attachments.
Yeah. And also, like, if I was teaching someone, I don't know, ceramics, and then their former teacher comes and brings them a whole paint set, I'd be like, oh, cool. Practicing painting will really help you with ceramics.
But
like, same thing here. It's like, oh, Jaren brought you this cool-ass, like armor. Like, the only way that metal can be soft and, like, you can grow into it, you know, this little Grogu guy. And, like, it's silly to me that they wouldn't be like, sweet, Grogu can be protected from being stabbed with a lightsaber with this awesome little chainmail that his stepdad brought him.
But it's like you can't have like gifts from your parents when you go off to become a Jedi.
So that's actually going to bring me into my next point. I was pissed the hell off that when Luke was like, "Oh, let me help you remember your home," and then they only showed flashbacks to Coruscant. I was like, that's his second home. His first home, he was ripped from his family. I was actually like pissed. I was like, I want to see Grogu's parents.
Yeah, they're not going to show Yoda's home world. They're never going to reveal like his species.
But they don't have to reveal like the planet. They could just reveal like glimpses of when he's like literally a newborn infant baby, whatever. That's what I was thinking he was reaching for when he was like, remember your home. And then, I don't know what that was. But then in this, it's like, oh, actually, I'm just trying to stir up your trauma. Like, thanks a lot, Luke. Like, is this like the first time that he's been able to firsthand witness Order 66? Is that like, he's actually just like, I kind of want to know what that was like. Let me peer into your memories and watch my dad slaughter all of your friends. Like,
yeah, I don't know if that's what he was aiming for, but that's what the search results turned up.
Yeah, that sucked.
I didn't think of that, but yeah, that's fair. But yeah, Ahsoka was adamant in The Mandalorian Season 2, I guess, that Grogu shouldn't be trained. But then here she was like, well, I'm not going to stop Luke from training him, but I still don't agree with it. But yeah, it's interesting how she stopped Din Djarin from going to see his kid, you know? Like, she felt pretty strong about it to intervene like that.
Yeah, I feel like this is serious, like, character backtracking for me with Ahsoka. So I was not happy at how this episode went with my girl.
Yeah. This is like when they said in Rebels when they're like, Saw Gerrera has been targeting civilians. I was like, oh, I don't like that. This is like your
That's my
your
version.
that
I'm like, bitch, this Jedi kid who is not a Jedi would not be like, oh, you cannot have attachments.
But here's the thing, I'm kind of willing to see where the stuff goes, and over time, I think Dave Filoni is going to like connect the dots. I certainly hope so, at least from like this era up to the Luke we see in the sequel trilogy. And I'm just curious to see what Filoni does in that territory. And that's something that I desperately want to see Star Wars explore, and I think animation is the perfect place for it. So I'm going to take this opportunity to again advocate for an animated Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka show.
Hell yeah.
Set after Return of the Jedi and before The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I want them to be like, I don't know, having a campfire talk about his parents and stuff. Like, you know, where he's asking her questions and she gets to answer. Or like, I don't know. Like, and I feel like there's major missed opportunity here for her to like pass on what she learned that was bad about the Jedi to Luke.
It'd be a great place to do something with Jason Syndulla.
Yes.
Like, and then, of course, you know, whatever Grogu is going to eventually develop into.
Oh, Oh, you know the other thing that made me upset about this? When they're, like, putting all this pressure on Grogu not to have an attachment to Jaren, or Jaren not to reach out to Grogu, is Luke Skywalker no longer attached or reaching out or having friends like Han Solo and Leia Skywalker?
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Or Leia Organa, I'm sorry.
If anything, like, Luke's refusal to give up on his dad at the end is what defeated the Empire.
And that's an attachment-based connection.
Yeah.
So it just makes no sense to me. And this was something I was already mad about from the sequels, is the way that Luke was such a shitty Jedi master teacher. Because he was so clinging on to those old books. You know what I mean? Of what he thought the Jedi Order needed to be. And it's like, no, dude, you're literally the only one. You get to come up with your own version of the Jedi Order.
It's like he tried too hard to do it right. Like,
Yeah.
he tried too hard to build it. But
He had major imposter syndrome.
it's also like, you know how I've talked about how, you know, coming off of the original trilogy, a lot of us had like a very different view of the Jedi. Like, we never pictured them as like this
Order.
kind of this
Yeah.
flawed, corrupt, bureaucratic-y kind of institution
Yeah.
that becomes part of the establishment. You know, it just was not what I think any of us were thinking, and maybe that's just not what Luke was thinking. Maybe Luke had that idea of this more heroic, romantic kind of you know, mythic idea of the Jedi that he didn't realize that he was repeating a lot of the same mistakes when he tried so hard to build things back. He tried to, like, oh, I gotta find out exactly how things were and carbon copy it.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'd like to rewatch the sequels with that context in mind.
We
and, like,
will.
listen to the dialogue and, yeah, try to get an idea of what the motivations might have been there. But yeah, it's something that I would like to see them explore. And I don't know, maybe Filoni can fix it, maybe he can't. But I'm honest. Like, I say give him a shot. You know, like.
Yeah, I agree.
But
yeah, so like a lot of the Jedi stuff in this was really making my eye twitch.
Mm-hmm. I think it was cool seeing those droids build the little Jedi temples.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, this is also
fun.
the planet that Luke trains Leia on.
Yeah. See, Luke goes against his attachment policy and is like, oh man, I really need to bring in my sister. Do you think it's because he's attached to her or just because she's force sensitive?
But I feel like Leia eventually gets married to Han Solo, right? But
Yeah.
Luke was also, like, training her in Jedi stuff for a while. So was she ever considering, like...
Not being attached to
like,
Han Solo? No! Because she's
So-
Leia fucking Organa. She can do what she wants. So, I need
But
to
she
know
ends up not
more.
going down the Jedi path.
Yeah.
So, maybe she's like, no, like, I want to be, like, a wife and mother. But...
In general. Hello.
In general. Do you know, like, in the books, they explain why she doesn't go into politics and become, like, a senator again, or, like, maybe even, like, eventually Supreme Chancellor.
Because she has more Vader in her than Padme.
Well, someone actually, one of her political rivals reveals that
was her dad.
Her dad is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And
And
it
she's
kind
like,
of-
well,
It
okay.
torpedoed her political career. So she went off and started the Resistance to monitor the First Order instead. So those might be things that Leia is getting into at this point, while Luke is doing this Jedi stuff, is going to start his Jedi Academy. She is actually starting to organize the Resistance to... I guess they haven't, like, declared themselves the First Order yet, but these, Imperial remnants, like Gideon, like, they eventually do start organizing together. And so Leia is like, I need to gather some ships and fighters and keep an eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
But we also get Cad Bane in this episode.
Oh.
So I like this. I like live action Cad Bane.
I do. I wish he was darker blue.
I wish he was skinnier.
And I wish that they used his theme music from
Yeah.
the Clone Wars and...
It's the only time I'm disappointed with the music
Bad Batch.
in this. Like, so far I love all the music in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. The live action post Jedi music that Swedish guy, I can't never remember his
Ludwig
name.
Göransson.
But yeah, love it. But yeah, it would have been really cool to have some classic Kevin Kiner.
It would have
Cad
been
Bane.
so cool in Freetown, Mos Pelgo. Because it's such a Western environment. When he's, like,
Yeah.
approaching Cobb Vanth, and it's all, like, deputy and marshal.
Wait, he should have been a bigger part of the show, I think.
Yeah, they introduced him too late. That's what I'm saying, is, like, what the
Yeah,
fuck were
like,
they
instead
doing
of
with
doing-
episode 5 and 6?
Instead of doing that Mando stuff, they should have had Cad Bane come in.
Yes! Yes! Have a Cad Bane-centric Chapter 5 with flashbacks to Boba and him, like, oh, my beef with... And then they could do that fight in live action of him giving Fett the bump on his helmet. And, like, they could cover that here because that never got animated.
They could do, like, a flashback to it of, like, when he's a kid.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And, like, it sucks because I love-hate Cad Bane. I think he's a cool-ass character. Obviously, awful person. But, like, a lot of their banter is, like, if you haven't seen the Clone Wars or... What was it also? Was it the Bad Batch?
Yeah,
Boba Fett's
the
in
Bad
it for a
Batch.
second?
Well, the Bad Batch has Cad Bane in it for a second, but that's when it showed that he had the metal plate on his head.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing about this show is that like they put in like
they plug those things.
The super specific things, like that's like a very niche group of the audience, or like the people who know about this event that didn't even happen in any of the shows, but is considered canon.
Yeah.
The people who made them.
Yeah.
But there was supposed to be an episode of the Clone Wars where Cad Bane gets in a duel with Boba Fett, and Cad puts a dent in Boba's helmet, and Boba shoots Cad in the head, and he ends up having to get a metal plate installed.
Mm-hmm.
That's like they take the time both in the Bad Batch and in the Book of Boba Fett to point that out to us. But like, how many people like I know that, and and like you know that
only recently because you just showed it to me in this chronological rewatch. But yeah, I agree. I think Cad Bane should have been one of the big bads from one of the first episodes here. Like he was already working for the Pikes or something. Or did they hire Cad Bane because they know he has beef with Boba? And so they didn't hire him until they realized,
I don't know why or when they hired him. But yeah, just since none of the Pikes are compelling antagonists.
It would have been so much better to have him earlier and
like
have that be the bigger beat.
Yeah, if him and Boba could have had like an earlier conversation.
Yeah.
And then we could have like had like, kind of knowing like, this town ain't big enough for the both of us. Like, eventually there's going to be like this big showdown. But yeah, I do kind of wish that he was like skinnier because he's such like a skinny,
scrawny
character
quick.
In animation.
But he's older.
Well, but that's a good point. But I love his voice. I love that still Corey Burton, I believe, the voice actor who does like a lot of the Star Wars voices. But I don't know how many people will agree with this, but live action Cad Bane, to me, not only does he work really well, but I accept it way easier than I accepted live action Ahsoka. And I think it's the voice. I think it's because like the voice sounds the exact same.
Yeah, I get you there. I know a lot of people were upset that Ashley Eckstein didn't get to voice Ahsoka Tano.
Well, that would have been kind of weird to dub her over Rosario
It would
Dawson.
be weird because Rosario also, like, she already has, like, a big name, right?
Yeah.
And then it would also be weird to cast Ashley Eckstein because she's, like, 5 feet tall and, like, blonde and white and doesn't look anything like Ahsoka.
Jedi build, yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't, like, she just wouldn't, like, I love her to death and I think she does an amazing job voicing Ahsoka. But I understand why they didn't cast her.
As a TV show, I would want her to voice her.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 1,000,000,000% in for the animated series of Luke and Ahsoka. And bring back fucking Ashley Eckstein. She's fantastic. But, like, also, I like Rosario Dawson as the physical live-action Ahsoka. But I do agree. Like, she has more of a somberness than, like, the peppiness and, like, confident. Like, that young confidence that Ahsoka had, But, I don't know. I don't have any big complaints on her. But I like Cad Bane a lot, too. That's where we're coming from. I think he looks fine. I think he would be better darker.
I'd like to see more live action Cad Bane.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Cad Bane show up and I don't know. Maybe he's in the new movie. Maybe he's in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah. Well, no, I guess he can't. I guess this will be after he died.
Well, does he die?
If he
we'll
dies,
get there in the next episode. Any last thoughts? Oh, the thingy got bombed. The sanctuary got bombed by the Pikes.
Yeah.
R.I.P. everyone in the sanctuary. That was pretty brutal.
Marshal and deputy both shot.
Yep. And it ends with Grogu having to make a decision between Jedi and Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, with Yoda's lightsaber, which, by the way, in the Darth Vader comics, they actually show Maz Amida, Palpatine's Blue Devil guy, like his J.D. Vance. He's like the vice president.
Yeah.
He throws Yoda's lightsaber into like this fire to destroy it. He's like, the age of the Jedi is over, and he throws it in the fire and destroys it. But I guess Yoda might have had multiple lightsabers.
Who knows?
I just want to point that
Maybe
out.
it's a new one that he made post Order 66. Like when he was on Dagobah. Maybe he found a crystal and somehow used parts of a broken ship to make a new one.
Yeah, we don't really know what he is up to all those years he was sitting around there.
He was kooky as hell, so he could have made a lightsaber.
Smoking that Dagobah green. Yeah, so the Marshal shot but not dead. I also want to point out when right after that, Cad Bane says if the spice keeps moving, there won't be any trouble. He says something like very similar to like the spice must flow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny. But yeah, so we have our season finale now. We have the Mandalorian there teamed up with Boba. We have Cad Bane there with the Pikes. Taylor, tell us what happens in the finale of the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 7, In the Name of Honor.
R2-D2 flies Grogu, who has chosen Djarin's chainmail, to Peli's hangar. Bane and Pikes confront Fett, Shand, and Djarin outside the remains of the sanctuary, where Bane reveals that the Pikes killed Fett's Tusken tribe and framed the biker gang. The other crime families betray Fett and attack his soldiers throughout Mos Espa. Fett and Djarin send Shaiz's majordomo to distract the Pikes, allowing the pair to attack the group, though they are soon outnumbered. Freetown's citizens and the cyborgs arrive to save the pair, but the group are overwhelmed again by two shielded, Scorpionic droids.
Yeah.
Peli arrives with Grogu, who helps Djarin destroy one of the Scorpionics, while Fett's Rancor destroys the other. Bane scares off the Rancor and defeats Fett in a gun duel, but Fett kills Bane with his gaffy stick. In the summary, they say kills Bane. Grogu lulls the Rancor to sleep, ending its rampage. In Mos Eisley, Shand kills the Pike boss, Shaiz, and the other crime lords. As Fett earns Mos Espa's denizens, citizens, respect and admiration, Djarin and Grogu fly away in their N1 starfighter. In a mid-credit scene, Vanth heals in Fett's bacta tank with the mod artist standing nearby. He's like rubbing his hands. He's he's ready to be.
He loves when there's like an injured person.
Yeah, he's like, I get to work on something. My artist flow and science brain are formed together. But
so what's gonna be the mod for Cobb Vanth?
Honestly, I don't know because he got shot in the shoulder, like upper right chest.
So maybe now he's gonna have like
a cyborg arm. He's gonna be the Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he's gonna have like a Bucky Barnes arm, but he's gonna make him like the fastest blaster in the galaxy.
Okay, I can see it. I can see it. But yeah, let's talk about the beginning of the episode. So Grogu arrives to Tatooine.
Yeah, R2-D2's taxi service.
Yeah, that was funny. And Peli is like, stay a while. And R2's like, bitch, I gotta go. Like, Luke wants me back.
But it reminded me of that time in the Clone Wars when R2 flew a starfighter himself. R2 Come Home. It was like Lassie Come Home.
Oh, yeah.
That was also a Boba Fett episode. That was when Boba was trying to kill Mace Windu.
Oh, God.
So, that little kid now sits on Jabba the Hutt's throne. It's not Jabba's palace anymore. It's Boba's palace.
I guess so.
Like in Star Trek, we don't call it Vulcan anymore. It's Navarre.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode, has a lot going on with not a lot of substance.
I really wanted to like this episode when it came out. I loved well, I didn't love, but I really bought into the first 4 episodes. I, like everyone else, thought it was kind of weird to go on a Mandalorian tangent, but I was happy to get back to Tatooine and wrap this stuff up.
Yeah.
But this was not what I wanted. It tries to... It bites off more than it can chew, and it doesn't come together in a satisfying way.
No, and it's because the Pikes don't feel like a real bad guy. Like, there's not a head Pike. I mean, there is, but it's not fleshed out enough for it to be a satisfying ending. Like, the Mayor Shaiz and, like, the Pike General guy are, like, kind of the 2 heads of the snake, but they both are super not threatening. Like, in my opinion. Like, they look weak as hell. Like, you could take them. You know what I mean? And, I don't know. It's just, like, the beef doesn't feel, like, real. You know? Like, the only thing that the Pikes have done now is, like, blown up the sanctuary. That's, like, the first and only thing that's happened, like, since Boba's been on the throne. In my opinion. Like, the Pikes haven't been consistently making it an issue. They've just been running spice. Right? And, like, trying to get the throne. Like, they want the throne. I just don't feel like there's enough conflict. Like, I want more conflict and a bigger battle.
Yeah. There's no motivation there. There's no character there.
And, yeah, and then, like, they just, like, pull in all these random people to fight all these other random people. It's
I kind of like seeing, like, the smaller gangs. Like, there's a bit more personality there. Like, the Trando gang and then the Walrus people gang.
Yeah.
Then who was the other one? Was it, like, the pug dog looking people? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't remember. But
yeah, because they killed the green piggies.
Oh, and that's depressing as hell. They just get, like, literally thrown off a cliff.
Someone has to die.
I liked them the most out of everyone on Boba's team. But it felt like a hodgepodge of random-ass people on both sides. Like, it's like, who can we get? Oh, these people from Freetown that Boba's never met. And also, like, these random mini-gangs that probably would have beef with the Pikes because, like, the Pikes are trying to have their own gang. It just doesn't really make sense why they would team up with him or with the Pikes and not with Boba. Because if they're, like, local gangs, you'd think that they'd want to back the local crime boss.
I guess they would rather be lorded over by the Pikes than be lorded over by Boba.
It was weird. Yeah, so the other thing I hated in this was the giant Deceptor droid.
The Scorpionic droids. But yeah, they look like giant destroyer droids from the Clone Wars.
And I'm like, this is dumb. And that lasted way too long.
They needed to know that Onderon technique of you roll the droid poppers under the shield.
It.
Yeah. No one here watched the Clone Wars, apparently.
No.
If Saw Gerrera had survived the Death Star, he could have taught this to them.
Or if Ahsoka had joined them on this.
Oh yeah. Boba should have reached out to Ahsoka.
For real.
Instead of
She doesn't do that kind of work these days. But I hated these goddamn
why
droids.
don't they use the Slave One? Why isn't, like, Finnick or Boba or someone, like, flying around in the Slave One? Like, they have a gunship.
And so, doesn't the N1 Starfighter have guns?
Yeah.
Why aren't both of them in the air?
Yeah, it's like, Den, Boba,
use your
both of y'all have a
guns.
ship. Yeah. You have a jetpack. Take your jetpack to your ship. And shoot these droids. So
stupid. But instead...
But he gets on the Rancor.
Yeah, instead Boba's like, let me go get my new pet. I'm so excited to drive, or what do you, steer your pet? What do you say that? Like, what do you say when you're, like, getting on a horse or something? Mount?
Yeah, and he mounts the Rancor.
It's just weird. And, like...
Well, it's kind of like mounting the dragon.
He has had all of 12 hours to learn how to ride this Rancor. Like
the Night Sisters of Dathomir used to do, which was a cool detail.
That was a cool detail. But, like, Danny Trejo literally told him, oh, it takes a long time to learn how to ride a Rancor. And he says, I'll do it in 12 hours. Like, I'll just hop on this Rancor right now. Let's see what happens. And, like, takes it into battle. I'm like, okay, that's unrealistic as hell. So, anyway, I hate the droids. Because also, like, where the fuck have they been the whole show? Like, if that was, like, gonna be a threat, like, the Pikes have these massive droids and they're forcing everyone to stay in their homes and, like, show that earlier, you know? It's weird that they would save this for the last episode, and it I don't know, it just seems dumb.
I don't mind the droids too much, but I just think the action goes on for too long and is
too long.
Pretty clunky. But it's just really uneven. The Rancor is really cool for like the first 5 minutes, but then it kind of I don't know, it gets boring after a moment.
Because then it goes off on its own adventure and becomes the big bad. Like,
well,
that's annoying. We didn't need another thing.
It did kind of make Cad Bane look cool when he was smart enough to, you know, I guess Rancors are like scared of fire and uses flamethrower. Made me also think that like Cad Bane is so Mandalorian with his gear. Like he has like the grappling hook launcher thing, like the cable that can wrap people up. He has like the flamethrower gauntlet. He doesn't have a jetpack, but he has like those rocket boots.
Yeah.
So, you know, Cad Bane kind of has the same abilities as a Mandalorian. And so it's interesting that he, at some point that we don't see, spent some time mentoring Boba.
Yeah.
But also, I think it was maybe a thing in like some Legends material. I don't know if it's anything in current continuity. But I think it at one point it was mentioned that when Cad Bane became a bounty hunter, he mentored under Jango Fett for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, at some point before the Phantom Menace, when Cad was younger. So, it'd kind of be interesting if like that's why if Cad Bane was like learning from the Mandalorians. So like, oh yeah, I should have like a flamethrower and some type of flight ability.
Yeah. What'd you think of Fett versus Bane?
I like the dialogue. I like that they talk about they have like this history of these Clone Wars episodes that we never saw, but
yeah.
I think this would have been a good ending for Cad Bane. You know, I would love to see more of him, but like you can just do more of him with the stories set previous to this.
Right.
However, I don't like the little thing on his chest, the red blinky light that's going beep 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 at the end. It's just like, to me, it's like, okay, that is a back door to bring him back.
Yeah.
Because no one's ever really gone in Star Wars, apparently.
It's a back door.
Yeah. That's a signal to his droid Toto to come
rescue him and fix him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that does leave open-ended.
What if we go to the theaters to see The Mandalorian and Grogu, and then we see, like, Cad Bane walk out, and he's like, good thing my droid saved me on Tatooine.
It might happen, man. I'm not leaving anything out. We are doing no spoilers for the movie, by the way.
We haven't seen any of the trailers.
If you've seen trailers and he's in it, do not tell us. We don't want to know any of that. But I wanted to say in the duel, I did like that they were like pew-pewing at each other, but then Fett actually wins by using the gaffy stick.
Yeah.
So that does kind of show like he's putting his past behind him and he's approaching his Tusken side.
But he won because he had a tribe, because he had a family.
Right.
Like Cad Bane is saying you should always look out for yourself. You
yeah.
know, anything else is weakness. That's my final lesson to you. But it's actually like Boba taught Cad, it's like, no, it's actually better to have a family.
Yeah. Who was murdered. All of them. So I'm on my own again.
And Cad Bane talked shit about it.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to psych him out.
Yeah.
You know, he wanted to, like...
Well, he's probably still sees Boba as, like, a 12-year-old boy.
Boba had learned enough from Cad Bane. Like, Boba does the psychological warfare, too, to the Pikes. When he sends out the Major Domo to read his...
He's like, no deal.
His negotiation letter,
Yeah.
When he was saying, like, Tatooine will flow with the oceans of your blood. Like,
yeah. That was a lot.
But then, you know, as soon as, like, they're starting to react to that, he flies out there and starts fighting them. But then Cad Bane shows up and does psychological warfare on Boba. So...
Man, you know what I just realized? Is, like, a lot of the fight felt a lot like when you're playing as kids. Of like, oh, and now you get up on the roof and you sniper those people. So you pretend that you're going up on that roof. You know what I mean? Like, the big fight, it just felt like very juvenile.
The way that they're kind of like planning it out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go do this with my Darksaber.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go do this with my Rancor.
Yeah. It feels very much like a group of kids playing with their characters.
The Darksaber action does look cool though. Like like Den getting into the Scorpionic shields and like the Darksaber action was cool. I don't know if it justifies the Scorpionic droids though.
I don't think it justifies the Mandalorian being in this at all.
No, yeah,
And
I'm in total agreement. And like we've mentioned, like him immediately like reconnecting with Grogu like this. Like even though we were complaining about the Jedi no attachment policy, but it's also weird that at the same time that like when Din coming from the opposite end of the spectrum, like I mentioned earlier, the Mandalorian side, he had to learn to let go and but which was a struggle for him. But then he immediately like reconnects here. It's just like
it's way too soon.
Yeah.
They seriously needed to have a larger
like absence. It was so soon they couldn't even wait until the next episode. They had to put it out before season 3. Like literally. They undid the ending of season 2 before the beginning of season 3.
Yeah.
They were that eager to reset it.
Yeah, I do not like that at all. I guess final thoughts here.
So when they end with the post-credit scene of Cobb Vanth and the Bacta tank, is that to set up like he was gonna have another spin-off show starring him? It'd be like The Tales of Freetown.
I think that would have been like the Book of Boba Fett season 2.
Or they did like this little Western show, it's kind of like okay, this is what you do. Give Cab Vanth a family. Like he marries some like sweet widow and has like some stepkids, and you make like this like Andy Griffith kind of like family sitcom, this like old timey, but it's like they call it The Tales of Freetown, and it's just like him being the marshal, just having like some goofy episodes, some folksy fun.
Yeah, I think they can press pause on that.
Well, they're getting out of the streaming business. They're like, we want Star Wars back on the big screen.
Yeah,
so
they're like, oh, we're trying to bring theater back.
Yeah,
which
so
thank
we'll
God.
see what happens.
This is a reminder to anyone listening: be a good audience member back in the theaters, or I will be calling you out. That is one of my frequent hobbies these days. We've had such terrible experiences with like people in the audience at local theaters. So make sure your phones are off. Don't text. Don't take a fucking phone call. That's happened literally next to me. Like, keep your thoughts and shit to yourself for the most part. And, like, just be a decent human being so other people can have a good experience.
And pick up after yourself.
Take your popcorn bowl and your goddamn trash. Yeah. So
just go put it in the trash can.
This is just a reminder. I know we're coming out of I feel like we've been out of it for like kind of a couple years, but I know like a lot of the theater etiquette has been forgotten or like not enforced during the COVID years. So this is just a reminder that we're enforcing those things. So see The Mandalorian, but also be a good person about it. I don't know. You have anything else to say on the Book of Boba Fett?
I don't know.
Oh, we forgot. Sorry, we forgot that Grogu knocks out the Rancor with the Force.
Yeah, he's good with creatures.
Yeah,
now.
and I thought it was cute, like how teeny tiny little Grogu is compared to like the massive Rancor. They had really good scaling on that, so I enjoyed that. But I also like that he knocked out the Rancor, put it to sleep, whatever. Is like, sleep. That's what the wolves do to Ezra. I remember he's like, sleep. And it like knocks out Sabine. Mm-hmm. But I like that took out so much of Grogu. Like, he takes a nap next to the Rancor. It reminds me of that vine of that kid, like, stressed out on the beach. She's so tired. And she goes, I'm going to take a nap right here. Like, that's basically what Grogu does in this. It's very cute. But yeah, I like that establishes like more of his Force abilities.
Yeah, he has Force abilities
with animals.
And he can. And Luke has taught him a few tricks that now he can use in I guess season 3 and beyond. So But that is what we're talking about next. So we'll be live again probably Friday night to discuss The Mandalorian Season 3. And then after that, we'll just have, I guess, the 3 streams next week to finish things off. But we're going to be doing Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and, of course, The Mandalorian and Grogu. So...
yeah, not much left.
But it's been a lot of fun going on this journey so far, and looking forward to wrapping it up soon. But until next time, remember, Empire is for bootlickers. Be a rebel, and may the Force be with you.